Well, since I'm going to be trying here to talk about women, it would be nice if I could make it count for something. I'll start by talking about Kathy, who I lived with in Montana, and what it was like trying to explain to her how serious what I believe happened on Mount Desert Island was, and what it was like to stay with her, even though she was obviously telling herself that it was just something that was being done through the Society of Human Ecology, what Peter Gabriel was calling an experience part, that it was just some scientific mayhem. But she was with me when the laboratory fires were obvious from the plume of flames in the sky, and I had just gotten done saying that if anybody knew what they had done, I wouldn't give them another week. But Martha Gellhorn wrote to me while I was living with Kathy, and she said she recognized in what I was communicating a great sense of urgency. One of the problems with the circle who have used me for their narrative, their ongoing narrative, while claiming to be doing detective investigation, a sort of totalitarian puppet show using a human being, is that they see women not as the new interest, but as the next vehicle for their narrative. So after Kathy, I took up with Lisa from a Sicilian violinist from Pittsburgh, who said, "Well, I don't understand why you tolerate me if what you're saying is true, because I don't believe you." And she sort of pushed a nexus point and what was bothering me with Kathy. But Ringo's people at Carnegie Mellon University were even willing to subvert Martha Gellhorn's seasoned and obviously very reputable estimation of the situation by subverting her claim that it was urgent. A great sense of urgency is the phrase she used. They mocked and lampooned it, urgent, urgent, when Rosa broke up with me. And there does seem to me to be a difference between torturing somebody. They were rhetorically playing this thing, oh, you're torturing Rosa, to cover for the fact that I was literally tortured, brutally, brutally tortured, kidnapped, brutally tortured as a child, and force-fed a nerve agent. There's a difference between crying for help and disbelief that she would be helping the people who I explained to these women had authored an atrocity and torturing somebody, crying in disbelief. Why are you helping them? It's not torturing somebody. But if, suppose I was in an analogous situation, suppose I was um, Greta Thunberg, the climate change girl. Um, what I was actually trying to do was warn people to try to get them to cool it and be safe towards one another and help sort out what happened. Suppose Greta, who's doing something like that too with the climate change situation, was up against the fossil fuel lobby. The fossil fuel lobby said, aha, we have caught you, Greta. You're trying to make a name for yourself. Aha, you're playing all big with this stuff about urgent, because what you need is ego gratification. And they started putting out songs, the judge and jury is in our head. So the judge and jury is in the head of the fossil fuel industry, accusing her of playing all big and upstage, and she's trying to upstage Biden. Now, what I knew about um, Adam Eisenstadt, who became a speechwriter for Donald Trump, is that he used to say that he was contemptuous of the whole thing that was happening in America, in the city of Pittsburgh. And it's relevant because Trump was cited for contempt today. He hired this kid who's notoriously contemptuous. That was one of his favorite things to say. I'm contemptuous of the whole thing. So contempt is their calling card. It's their selling point. It's why they like each other. Okay, well, their sidekicks like Ringo Starr and Peter Gabriel are like people who lampoon serious matters and announce that the adversary who's done something wrong is the judge and jury. It may seem strange to be talking about um, Trumpy Tune, Ringo Starr, and Peter Gabriel as women, but I wouldn't have to if Paul McCartney were a man. But well, one of the things about women when you get political, I mean, Pat Nixon was often seen as someone who had to swallow her pride and endure a very difficult um, family relationship because of her husband's political career. But she did a better job of carrying the burden than Jackie Kennedy, who was secretly exchanging notes about hidden weapons with Ellen Dulles, one of JFK's assassins. And even the New York Times has people who said it was Ellen Dulles. And talking about, what a horrible person Martin Luther King was. Obviously, JFK, he had a disregard for women that sometimes came out that was from his 50s generation. And he didn't let her dominate his views about King and civil rights. But she was something of an anchor for him in the oligarchy that wounded his reputation among poor black people. And some of the things that these women did were like that, catering to the assassins, is what I'm saying. Now, women can be very loyal to killers. I mean, there were a lot of women who were segregationists, responsible for, like what happened to Emmett Till was largely because of a woman. I don't think it's fair to relegate Kathy to that status. Even Rosa was upset when there were riots over Rodney King. She said it's too much to just believe that they should take out on innocent people. But she was very sensitive to anything racist. She was a good person in that way. But the violence with which they backstabbed my investigation was horrifying, and it would be a great deal to imagine how much pain it caused, even if I wasn't being brutally tortured by an implanted neuroplasm that they were targeting. I don't know that Kathy knew it was there. And he figured just this way to get a relationship with me because of what she heard when she came to visit me. She was thinking about coming to school in Pittsburgh, but she got the air of Shulman and Miles Kirshner stuff about me. She didn't want to go through it. Now, they've had domination for a really long time, but um, the bottom line is that it's a switchboard of social controllers who have known for a long time that we weren't living sustainably. And their conclusion was it's therefore not sustainable, not let's change. Okay. My belief was we're not living sustainably, so we need to change, which is where Greta's coming from too. But their message to Greta is we'll change after we get through with this cosmic example that we're commodifying as a comedy from the international veterans movement. And women have played a role in the whole thing that they need to start considering. I agree with Malala and Vanessa that when women are denied an education, the whole world suffers. And I'm a good example of how much pain being kicked around by women can inflict. But the dispute about my so called mistreatment is that I was arguing against people who were saying things like Christelle said, I want to be raped. She said that, not me. Mickey said, sometimes she had her virginity too long. Sometimes I want somebody just to throw me down on the bed and force me to do it. And then there was Leslie, why should you get another chance? What I said was, you're going to make life hard for other women by pursuing this line. Not that from me, but by conjuring this idea that women like to be forced. You're putting, they were violating the feminist movement's creed. And feminists took their side mysteriously because of this girl, Paul McCartney. Who, it's sickening. The whole thing is sickening. They got Jeannie raped, they got Cersei killed, they got me castrated. It's sickening. So I mean, it would be easy for me to see through. The Exxon comes out with a song. Greta Thunberg just wants attention, George and Jury in our heads. I would be able to see right through it. But nobody has yet to see through Penis Gabriel's BS. Nobody.